Long ago, there was a dense forest on the banks of the Indravati river. A bird and a sparrow lived in that forest. The bird laid two eggs. One day, dark clouds suddenly gathered and lightning began to flash. A lightning bolt struck the bird and sparrow's nest. Amazingly, the bird and sparrow, along with their two eggs, survived unscathed. The clouds disappeared and the lightning stopped. After this, the bird began incubate her eggs again. Several months passed, but the eggs did not hatch and no chicks emerged. Then the bird and the sparrow thought that their eggs must have been damaged by lightning, otherwise, the chicks should have hatched long ago. Disheartened, the bird and the sparrow abandoned their eggs in the nest and moved to the other end of the forest, where they built a new nest and began living there. Meanwhile, sometime later, one of the bird's old eggs hatched, and instead of the chick, a calf was born. 10 months later, another egg hatched, and a boy was born from it. The calf and the boy saw each other and recognized each other as brothers. Both left the nest and came down from the tree. Once down, they began to play. When the calf got hungry, it grazed on grass, and when the boy got hungry, it plucked and ate fruit. In those days, wild animals were not found in the forest, so the two brothers played, roamed, and ate and drank without any worries. Gradually, they grew up. The calf grew into a healthy, strong bull, and the boy into a handsome young man. As they grew older, the brotherly bond between them grew stronger. The bull was born 10 months before the young man, so he considered himself his elder brother and protected and cared for him. The young man also considered the bull his elder brother and respected his words. One day the bull thought, "My skin is thick and I am not particularly affected by sun or cold, but my younger brother's skin is soft and it darkens in the hot sun and makes me shiver in the cold. Therefore, the younger brother should build a house for himself." The bull first named his younger brother Nanku. Then he told Nanku to build a hut for himself by covering 4 sticks without leaves and straw. Nanku, following the bull's advice, built not one but 2 huts out of wood and straw, one for himself and the other for his older brother. He felt it would be unfair for the younger brother to lie in a hut while the older one lay under the open sky. When the bull saw that Nanku had built a hut for him, he was filled with immense love for his younger brother. Then he went to Nanku's hut and touched the wood with his tail. As soon as his tail touched it, a miracle happened. Nanku's hut transformed into a beautiful home, complete with household goods. But the bull left his hut as it was. He thought, "I am just an ox. What do I need a house or household goods for?" Nanku objected, and the bull explained, I like living in a hut. Besides, you have your house. I will stay there whenever I feel like it. Nanku remained silent in front of the bull's wish. After a few days, the bull felt that now his younger brother should get married. Thinking this, he sent Nanku to a pond in the forest on the pretext of bringing special fodder. The bull knew that fairies came to bath in that pond. Nanku started cutting fodder on the bank of the pond. At the same time, fairies came to bath in the pond. Nanku also saw the fairies. He was captivated by the beauty of one of the fairies. The fairy also became captivated by Nanku. Then the fairy came to Nanku. I want to be your wife and spend my life with you. The fairy said, I will have to ask my elder brother about this. Nanku replied, Okay, let's go to your elder brother. The fairy said. Nanku and the fairy reached the bull. The bull had been waiting. He readily agreed and arranged their marriage. Nanku and the fairy lived happily. One day, a king wandered to the place where Nanku and the bull lived. The king was astonished to see the beautiful house in the dense forest. Just then, he spotted the fairy. Observing her beauty, he narrowly escaped fainting. He went to the fairy on the pretext of drinking water. He asked the fairy for water. The fairy gave him water. Oh, beautiful lady, why are you living here alone in the forest? You should live in the palace. The king said to the fairy, I don't live here alone. My husband and my brother-in-law live with me. As for living in the palace, my palace is where my own people live. The fairy replied. The king was still taking to the fairy when Nanku and the bull arrived. Nanku asked the king about her. This forest is in my kingdom, so you must obey my command and bring me a red stone that shines like the sun. If you fail to bring the red stone, I will take your beautiful wife with me. The king threatened Nanku, I accept your command. In exchange for my younger brother, I will bring you a red stone that shines like the sun. The bull said in Nanku's place, Okay, I will return in a week. You must bring the red stone by then. With this, the king left. After the king left, Nanku became worried. Brother, you told me, but where will you get the red stone from? Nanku asked the bull. I will get it from anywhere, but I will make sure I get it. As long as I am here, no harm can come to you too, the bull said. But I would not let you go alone. I will come with you, Nanku said. You two don't need to go anywhere. I know where to find the red stone that shines like the sun. I will go and get it right now. The fairy said, I will go with you. Nanku said, no one can go there except fairies. Don't worry, I just went and came back. Saying this, the fairy disappeared. The next moment, when she reappeared, Nanku and the bull were dazzled. In her hand was a red stone shining like the sun. Nanku was overjoyed to see the stone. He thought the king would no longer be able to take his wife away from him. But the bull understood that the king's intentions were evil. Once he had the red stone, he would find another way to take the fairy away from Nanku. Nanku, listen carefully to one thing. When the king asks who brought this stone, say that my elder brother brought it. Never tell him the truth. The bull said to Nanku. A week later, when the king came to take the red stone, Nanku gave him the stone. Who brought this stone? The king asked Nanku. My elder brother brought the stone. Nanku said the king asked this because he had heard that no human being can go where this stone is found. Now, Nanku's elder brother was not a human but a bull. So, what could the king say? The king thought that as long as this bull lived, he would not be able to get Nanku's wife. So, the king adopted another strategy. He told Nanku, your brother is very strong, so I want him to fight my most beloved buffalo. If he defeats my buffalo in battle, I will reward him handsomely. But if he loses to my buffalo, I will take your wife with me. Nanku was very saddened by the king's words. His wife Pari was also very sad. Then the bull consoled them. Don't worry, I will easily defeat the king's buffalo, said the bull. Then, on the appointed day, a fight broke out between the bull and the buffalo. The battle lasted for a long time. The buffalo tried hard to defeat the bull, but the bull knew the art of war, so it defeated him. Seeing this, the king was left heartbroken. He not only lost Nanku's wife, but also had to give the bull a large reward. The king was distraught at the failure of his plan. He summoned a witch doctor. He asked him to provide a herb that would kill the bull without anyone knowing the cause. The witch doctor was the king's devout devotee. He brought him a herb that could kill the bull. After obtaining the herb, the king sent word to Nanku. I have troubled you all this time, but now I want to be friends with you. Therefore, I want to have dinner with you. Nanku was simple. He thought the king might have had a change of heart and genuinely wanted to be friends. He consulted the bull and invited the king to dinner. The bull knew the king was wicked. His heart would not change so easily. But if someone wanted to come for dinner, how could he refuse? So there was no other option but to invite the king. Upon receiving Nanku's invitation, the king arrived at Nanku's house. The fairy cooked the food with her own hands. The bull, Nanku, and the king all sat down to eat. For Nanku's safety, the bull sat between the king and Nanku. The king also wanted the bull to sit near him. The fairy served the food to all three. They began eating. After eating 2 mouthfuls, the king said to the bull, look, there's a beautiful bird sitting on that tree outside the window. Hearing the king's words, the bull turned its head and looked out the window. Nanku and the fairy also turned their attention to the window. Thus distracted, the king exchanged his plate with the bulls. Before exchanging plates, he had mixed the herb Gunia had given him into the food on his plate. Yes, it's a very beautiful bird. The bull turned his head and, as he looked at his plate to eat, realized it was not his. The bull actually had his own plate. It looked like any other plate, but he had a small mark on it. The fairy also served the bull food from his own plate. The king was unaware of this. When the bull looked closer, he realized his plate was placed in front of the king, which meant the king had distracted the others and exchanged his plate with the bulls. There must be something fishy, thought the bull. The bull was clever, he said to the king. Today I applied oil to my tail, so look how shiny it is. Now the king had to turn his head back and look at the bull's tail. The king thought the bull was showing his tail to imitate him. The king laughed to himself. This fool does not know that I showed him the bird to give him the poisonous herb, and he is showing me his tail to imitate me. Yes, your tail is shining very brightly today, the king said. By the time the king looked at the bull's tail, the bull had exchanged his plate for the king. The king remained unaware of this. He continued to eat his food, savoring it. After eating, the king bid farewell to Nanku and headed towards his palace. I will come again tomorrow, the king said to Nanku as he left. He knew that the bull would die shortly, and there would be no one to stop him from abducting Nanku's wife. Come, let's follow the king, the bull said to Nanku. After the king had left, the bull and Nanku followed the king. After walking some distance, the king began to feel dizzy. The herb was beginning to take its effect. Now the king realized that the bull had seen through his trick and had done to him the same thing the king was doing to the bull. But the king could do nothing to save himself. He fell to the ground and died the next moment. Brother, what happened to the king? Nanku asked the bull in surprise. As you sow, so shall you reap. The bull told Nanku about the king's wickedness. Afterward, the two brothers returned home happily. The fairy was also overjoyed to hear the news of the king's death. Sometime later, the fairy gave birth to two children, the bull, Nanku, the fairy, and her two children lived happily ever after.